Okay, I think that we can start. Hi, bonjour tout le monde. J'espère que vous allez bien. I hope that you are doing well. Just to make sure everyone can see my screen. Okay. So we are very happy to have you with us today for the launch of the seasonal activity guide for children and family online. And that will be a fun activity, a fun presentation, and we want to have a time to discuss with each participant, have your idea and input or that, and also to share with you some information that will be very, very important for you to download the guide and also to help us to promote the guide with other people around us. So before to start, I want just to say that it is a bilingual team. So we will speak in French and English, and we have a bilingual slide. So sometimes if some of the members are speaking in French, you can just look on the slide if you are not speak French. And also it's the same thing for the people that are just speaking in French. So that's it. So, bonjour tout le monde. Encore une fois, nous sommes vraiment comme contents de vous avoir aujourd'hui avec nous. Puis, vraiment, ça va être vraiment une activité qui serait assez, je dirais, comme fun. Beaucoup de partage, mais aussi partager des informations sur le guide d'activité de l'équipe éducation. Et comme je l'ai précisé, c'est une équipe qui est bilingue, donc sentez-vous libre de poser des questions dans la langue de votre choix. Puis, la présentation sera faite vraiment comme en anglais et aussi en français. Donc, nous sommes vraiment, vraiment comme contents de vous avoir ici avec nous. Donc, avant même de commencer, on aimerait vraiment comprendre le temps de reconnaître quand même qu'on est sur un territoire non cédé. Je suis à Moncton, donc c'est un territoire non cédé du peuple Mi'kmaq, mais aussi reconnaître le peuple Wolastoqi et le peuple Pescotomiti. Donc, nous sommes vraiment comme reconnaissants à ce peuple, mais en même temps, nous voulons vraiment comprendre le temps de reconnaître qu'il s'agit aussi d'un territoire non cédé et qu'on a des Premières Nations sur ce territoire avec nous et on apprécie énormément leur contribution, leur connaissance par rapport à différents sujets, mais aussi leur collaboration à travers nos différentes équipes. Donc, ça va m'amener à introduire un tout petit peu c'est quoi le collectif pour la santé environnementale des enfants. So here, this is like the invitation from Team Education, but Team Education is one of the team for the New Brunswick Environmental Health Collaborative. So the NB Children Environmental Health Collaborative is composed of like I will say 400 individually. On travaille vraiment avec différentes organisations. So people that are working in different fields, like environmental field, health field, and also people that are working on the government, so fédéral and provincial. Donc, on travaille vraiment avec différentes personnes, mais aussi avec différentes organisations qui travaillent dans différents domaines, qui touchent différents secteurs, dans le domaine environnemental, le domaine de la santé, mais aussi des organisations communautaires. Donc, on a 3 équipes avec le collectif pour la santé environnementale des enfants. We have 3 teams. With NB Children Environmental Health Collaborative, we have a team education, who is the team that they will present the activity guide today. We also have a team indicator and cumulative impact. Donc, l'équipe ici, l'équipe indicateur et des impacts cumulatifs that are working more about geospatial tool, data around how I can say environmental data, health data, and also socioeconomic data. And also we have a team nurses. So in the team nurses, we have teams that are working for the different networks, so Horizon and Vitalité. Donc nous avons aussi l'équipe infirmière qui travaille avec qui est une équipe qui est constituée quand même des infirmières qui travaillent dans le réseau de santé Vitalité, mais aussi Horizon. Donc, nous sommes quand même un assez grand groupe et puis on touche beaucoup la santé environnementale des enfants, puisque c'est le sujet qui nous intéresse particulièrement. Donc, sans plus tarder, ça va me permettre d'introduire l'équipe éducation qui a créé ce guide d'activité donc on va présenter aujourd'hui. So it is like a good opportunity to introduce right now the team education. So I say that the team education is the bilingual team. C'est une équipe bilingue, and in that team we have different people that are working for different sectors. We have Amanda. She's a nutritionist. We have Alexandra for Health Canada. We have Alice for NBLong, and Liz that we are happy to have her with us today because I will say it's a long time that Liz is working with the NB Environmental Children, with NB Environmental Children Health. So we have also Paula for Fredericton Family Resource Center and Paige for Elgroon Health Center. Donc, l'équipe éducation, c'est vraiment une équipe assez bilingue qui est constituée de différentes personnes travaillant dans différents secteurs. Donc, le secteur de la santé, on a Alexandra qui a travaillé avec Santé Canada. Nous avons Paige qui travaille avec Elgroon Health Center. Nous avons Amanda qui est nutritionniste, mais nous avons aussi des personnes qui travaillent et qui ont travaillé avec des organisations aussi communautaires telles que le NB, donc Alice et Lise. Donc, c'est tout pour moi. Puis, sans plus tarder, je vais passer la parole aux membres de l'équipe qui vous parleront un peu plus du guide.
Thank you, Sadia. Merci, Sadia. Donc, c'est quoi l'objectif de l'équipe éducation? C'est vraiment de former et éduquer des membres de la communauté sur la santé environnementale des enfants dans les deux langues, puis les équiper de ressources qui existent au niveau fédéral et provincial. C'est aussi de faire des présentations aux associations comme multiculturelles, aux écoles ou aux centres communautaires pour justement sensibiliser les gens par rapport à la santé environnementale des enfants, encore une fois. Puis de créer des liens avec différents intervenants et intervenantes en éducation, en santé publique et en environnement pour contribuer, pour continuer à promouvoir les activités de l'équipe éducation auprès des communautés. Aussi, on présente les activités qu'on fait, puis aussi des sujets reliés à la santé environnementale des enfants lors de la conférence annuelle qui se passe au niveau du NBEN. Puis, c'est ça, c'est vraiment de diffuser de l'information associée à la santé environnementale en lien avec les enfants. Donc, plus particulièrement, c'est quoi l'objectif du projet, donc du guide d'activités pour enfants? On peut passer à la prochaine diapositive. C'est vraiment de soutenir les soignants puis les soignantes, éducatrices et éducateurs dans leurs efforts pour élever les enfants en bonne santé. Donc, vous allez voir dans le guide, on parle d'activités qu'on peut faire en plein air, on parle d'activités qu'on peut faire avec des matériaux naturels. On voit aussi dans le guide qu'on propose des idées pour aider les familles à passer plus de temps dans la nature. Donc, vous allez voir, il y a vraiment des belles alternatives d'activités qu'on peut faire à l'extérieur. Puis, c'est aussi de fournir des informations sur la santé environnementale aux familles du Nouveau-Brunswick. Donc, je vais vous passer la parole à mon autre collègue pour vraiment voir en fond et en comble c'est quoi qui constitue le guide.
So for any of you guys that haven't actually seen the guide that we created, we've sectioned it off into each season, and under each season there's different activities, crafts, tips, and safety. Some examples of the activities we have here are like in the winter section that's on the screen, like going snowshoeing. Everything that we do activity-wise is encouraging of people to go outside and be in nature and also use nature as part of their activity in an environmentally friendly way. There are like great ideas in each section, and because they're based on seasons, you would have something like berry picking in the summer or apple picking in the fall. You have scavenger hunts that can be linked in our digital copy that we have. There's live links to like our Pinterest page, so there's different scavenger hunts based on the seasons as well. Even if it's just like a color scavenger hunt, go find something that's red, orange, green. There's also lots of stuff that makes it so children can interact with nature, but then also keep the stuff in nature. So there are like ideas for like rock collecting or finding sea glass, and like using nature, like making twig and leaf boats to float down a stream. And everything that we've provided activity-wise and craft-wise, really everything is either no cost or low cost, as it's just encouraging kids and families to get outside and be more involved with nature. Another section we have, if you could go to the next slide. So another section that we have in each season is recipes. They're very simple recipes. Most of the ingredients are all very easily obtainable for families. They're very nutritious. They're easy to make. They're kid-friendly in two aspects, that kids will be most likely to eat them, and also they can easily help make them. So involving getting families together and cooking together can be an important way to, you know, grow together. And because they're seasonal based, so like we may have an activity that recommends picking berries and then a recipe that uses those berries. For example, here we have the berry popsicles, or we might have something in fall to do with pumpkins, and then we'd have a recipe on how to roast those pumpkin seeds and make them different flavors, and how you know, to use the whole pumpkin for the family as well. And then, so the next section that we have, I'll pass it off to Elise, or no, to Liz, sorry.
Liz, you're muted there.
Thanks. Sorry. We have a lot of safety tips, and they're pretty simple because it's not hard to be safe. I think that in general, it's good to be prepared when you're the leader. Sometimes it's really good to go over the where you're taking a bunch of kids yourself, or if it's just with your family, it's a little different. In general, the mere act of just negotiating rocks and roots on a trail is really, really good for little ones, toddlers, to learn how to negotiate these places. And they will learn very quickly, I'm sure you will tell them, that it's probably not good to run on a narrow trail where there's roots and rocks. After a few bruises, they'll learn that. But let them run when it's a wide gravel trail and or a grassy area. Let them run free. And specifically, we have examples of safety tips. For example, in the winter, you'll have to think about ice thickness if you're going to go over a lake. Conservatively, 6 inches or 15 centimeters is safe for walking. Some people say 4, but we say 6. And then if you've got more people, like playing hockey or having fun, skating, 20 centimeters or 8 inches is advised by the Red Cross, which is a reliable organization. And also the color of ice is important. So if it's, you know, if it's clear or blue ice, that's safer than white ice, which is frozen snow, or gray ice, which is not safe at all. It's also good, like, that kids can learn how to walk on icy places. How do you walk on icy places? You kind of shuffle, you know, they need to learn these things. In general, in the winter, you want to dress in layers, because if they get too hot with just a ski jacket on, then they sweat and they get cold when they stop. It's good to teach them also how to stay warm. Like if their hands are starting to get cold, you know, they shake them like they're shaking off raindrops, or they kneel down and hit their heels together if their feet are cold. All these things are important to know. In this season, and actually tick season is anytime it's over 0. So, but spring is particularly, there's more ticks in the spring that you can't see because they're really small. It's good to wear light colored clothing. If you're, and always they should be wearing closed-toed shoes. Doesn't matter what you're doing. But if they're just walking along a nice trail, then you don't have to worry about, tucking pants into socks. But tucking pants into socks and long sleeves and shirts tucked into pants is a good idea if you're going through brush or long grass. And a hat is always good because it not only does long sleeves protect from sun, as everybody knows who takes their kids swimming, everybody wears long sleeve things now. But a hat is always good for protecting against the sun, but also against ticks if you're in brush. And ticks can't fly, so don't be too concerned about that. So those are some examples of the specific stuff. And then we also have, for the next slide, seasonal crafts that you can do that are, as Amanda said, are low cost and no cost. But you can also, they can learn a lot, kids can learn a lot about ecology and environmental ethics when they're doing crafts. So one thing we always say is take out what you take in. Don't leave anything in the woods that you took in. But things like if you're doing if you take cones like spruce cones or pine cones and you put peanut butter on them, if you're allowed, then use natural peanut butter without any additions. It's readily available in the stores, and explain to the kids why it's better. It's better for us and it's better for wildlife. Also, when you collect materials from down trees, it's or for crafts, like if you're making a fairy house or a pixie house in the woods, there's lots of things on the ground that you can get, or logs that are on the ground that you can take bark from. But I think it's really good to teach the kids why not to take bark from standing trees. Well, because bark it's called phloem, and it takes the nutrients from the leaves down to the roots. And if the tree can't let the nutrients go down from the leaves to the roots, then the roots will die and the tree will die. So they can learn so much about science and nature just by doing with these things. It's also good if you're in a public park to stick to the trails and sometimes to have a garbage bag just to take out not only your garbage, but garbage that you see, because that helps for everybody. The parks wouldn't last very nicely very long if you take up moss to take home and stuff like that. So we need to think about that, and also the way all the little feet going through now, they tromp down a lot more than we need to if we don't stick to the trails. So we're on to the next person.
Okay, so
Elise.
sprinkled in amongst the seasonal activities and safety, we have additionally included some general tips specific to each season that might be specific to different events or situations you might find yourself in that season. So obviously here in the fall, we have Halloween as an example. And these tips, as well as really almost everything that we have integrated into the activity guide, are simply advice on how to engage in an activity in a different way, in a way that is more thoughtful of the environment, that is using less single-use items, and occasionally that additionally means that it is a cheaper option as well. For example, using a pillowcase for trick-or-treating that you already have at your home, instead of purchasing a specific trick-or-treating bag. These tips also help to teach children as well as adults how to care for the environment and how to take care of ourselves in the environment. And there are just a lot of ideas for people in general to engage in nature. We do, in general, we know that when people engage in the environment, engage in nature, there is an increase in our appreciation and value for nature. And we also know that there's a correlation between the value that we put on the natural environment and the actions that we take to preserve it, to protect it. And so that is really important that we've integrated into all of these things. Now, if we go to the next slide, the very last page of our activity guide is a recommended reading list. This might be familiar, as you know, schools give these out at the end of the school year sometimes for students to look at over the summer. So it's sort of that idea, but we have it for each season. And each book is relevant to this season. It either takes place during that season or is related to kind of a natural environment situation that you most find in that season. All of these books are available at the New Brunswick Public Library, which can be accessed online. We really wanted any books that we recommended to be fully available free to anybody who's looking for it. And we hope that it encourages families to read together, families to increase their understanding of nature, children especially, and to make the natural environment just a little bit less scary for adults and children, that they might more readily engage, just take another step further to getting outside and to engaging in the activities that they might be reading about. And I think I'll hand it back to Amanda to close us out.
So as far as what we're looking for as a group here is we're looking for more opportunities to present the guide, to be able to either do presentations on it or even just pass it out. We offer the digital version of it free to anybody. We're looking for places to advertise it. Again, the main goal is to be able to get the guide in the hands of as many families as possible so that it can be used, so that it's an easy resource people can grab when they're stuck. If anyone has kids, you know what it's like to be stuck on a day where you're like, what do we do? It's great to be able to flip open and have something right there or pull up on your phone and look at. We're looking to also like partner with people who would use the guide, who have either resources to help us with printing the guide or are interested in collaborating in any way, shape, or form. We're looking for feedback on the guide, any ways we can improve it, criticism, things you like, you don't like, things you think would be great ideas moving forward. And as always, we're also looking for opportunities to grow our team. We have open arms to welcome anyone to team education that is looking to help, spread the message of environmental health for families and children. So I'll give it to you guys to see if you have any questions today, or anything you'd like to talk about in regards to the guide.